Yeah, so I think it's really important to pre-test your digital ads. In today's kind of cluttered digital environments, it's very difficult for brands to stand out. So if you look at the likes of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you have extremely cluttered environments with lots and lots of different pieces of content that you need to compete with. So for that reason, you want to make sure that your advertising stands out in these social media environments. The other thing to say is that the investment behind digital is growing rapidly. So now brands are spending considerably more on digital than they are on, let's say, TV and other forms of media. And therefore, because you're spending so much money on your digital advertising, you want to ensure that your advertising is standing out and is resonating with your consumers. And I suppose the final thing to say around the risk is that you don't want to be posting offensive content online. You don't want to be posting risky content, and therefore pre-testing ads is a great way of understanding whether your ads will be deemed offensive or cause any kind of damage to your brand before they go live, and that's why it's so important to pre-test. So I think this is a really tough question for digital, because despite the fact that digital has a growing investment number behind it, more money is being spent on digital than any other media, the number of assets compared to TV certainly are considerably higher. So it's not uncommon to get a digital campaign with 100 different creative executions, and therefore the idea of testing every single creative actually isn't feasible. But I do think it's important to test at least some of the different assets in a campaign, because for the reasons of risk and wanting to stand out, you want to ensure that your campaign or parts of your campaigns are resonating with your consumers. So I don't think there's a hard rule of thumb in terms of an investment number, but I do think it's important to test at least some of your campaign before you do go live. So I think this is a common trap that creators fall into, and we see this across numerous brands that we work with, that they take the TV advertising, cut it down, and then put it on digital. And actually we've done a considerable amount of research now to demonstrate the effects of context and how important different contexts are, not just from your TV advertising to YouTube, but also from YouTube to Facebook. The actual viewing experience that a consumer has is completely different. With TV, you have a much more engaged audience. You're often sat down, comfortable at home, watching your television. Whereas with digital, it's much more likely that consumers are perhaps on the go. They're scrolling through Facebook quickly or through Instagram. They may be viewing a YouTube piece of content but flicking between tabs, and therefore the need for attention and the way that ads are created needs to be changed for digital to suit the viewing habit of these different environments. And that's why it's so important to ensure that you're actually pre-testing your ads before you go live on digital, and not just assuming that you can test an ad on TV and then it will have the same effect when you put it live on digital. So I think in the past that used to be true. Traditional research methods used to take a few weeks to deliver pre-testing or copy testing. I think now with the rise of technology and automation, it's been made possible to run pre-testing in a matter of hours. So actually you don't have to add too much time to your existing process of going live with your digital advertising. And I think the other thing to say is that even if you don't have the time to do any pre-testing, you are able to do some copy testing during the campaign to get that crucial why behind the performance.